Football at 4, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Adam Caplan's in the house today. We got a bunch to discuss from yesterday's news. The fallout from the tush-push. Could it actually stay in play? A lot of people think, hey, they'll eventually push this thing out of the game. Plus, the Eagles are going to be on TV. We'll explain. It's all in today's Football at 4 with Adam Caplan from the Inside the Birds podcast, who joins me right now on the Sports Bash. Adam Caplan, what?
Mike, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So the main subject of today's Inside the Birds with Jeff Mosher and I was, could it actually stay past the 25 season, meaning it could be in for the 26 season? I still have my doubts based on everyone I spoke to around the league and other teams, coaches, and front office executives. But, man, Mike, I mean, I'm with everyone else. I thought for sure it was going to be up to vote, which it was. It was going to get banned, and it was narrow. You know, the number was 22. You need 75% of the teams to vote it to pass it or block something. And the league did not get 24. They only got 22 votes, which was less than 75%. So, yeah, here's the thing. Is this coach and I were talking yesterday through text. He says, look, the teams know that, and of course the Bills are good at it too, but the Eagles are elite at it. They see teams that have these athletic quarterbacks with great size. Now, Josh Allen is incredible size and is a great athlete. Jalen Hurts is not the tallest guy in the world, 6'1", but we know he could squat over 600 pounds. So you have to be very strong to do it, and you got to be pretty flexible. But he thinks, this coach said to me, listen, everybody sees how good the Eagles are at this. And they just won the Super Bowl. They've been in the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years. And by the way, it's a big deal for them. As you know how passionate they were with Jason Kelsey in the room yesterday and all the lobbying the Eagles have done, not only this owners' meetings, but they did in the March meeting. So who's to say, as this coach said, that other teams won't do it? They just see the success. You study teams that have been very successful. So, Mike, I'm not ruling out that we maybe see, but basically, look, it's the Eagles and Bills that do it the most, and there's just smattering.
Do you think more teams will now say, you know what, why don't we try it?
Yeah, look, other teams did it, Mike, but very low percentage comparatively to the Eagles and Bills. But who's to say other teams now don't do it on fourth and less than 2, third and less than 2? What if teams now just don't go for the sneak or throw the football? Who's to say they won't do the push? As I was saying to Jeff, I never thought of this, so I'm going to see it. When I go on my training camp tour, it's actually something I'll be looking for, which I've never done before. I've never even thought of looking for that with other teams.
The Eagles seemed to, like, the social media team was having a blast with this yesterday. It's almost
great.
like the Eagles wanted to really rub it into everybody's noses that they, didn't, that the other teams had proposed this. But I guess the question is, the Packers proposed it. Do we think, though, as reported, that they were forced into proposing it? Because they're the ones that are looking very petty about this.
Yeah, I don't think that, as I was saying to Jeff this morning, I don't think they needed any encouragement from the NFL. They've been against it. Mike, you know how successful since Nick Sirianni became the head coach, how well they've played, including last year's 2 victories, and they play again this year, I think in Week 10, against the Packers. The Eagles have kind of owned them in recent years. So I'm not saying the NFL didn't look for a team that they knew based on meetings, based on competition committee, that they knew that the Packers were against it. So I just find it funny, though. The biggest hypocrisy is Sean McDermott, whose team uses it, very good at it, but they want it out. And his first response, Mike, was it was a safety issue, which was complete nonsense because the NFL already said, Troy Vincent among them, that it's not an unsafe play. There's no statistical data to say or show that it's not a safe play. And Josh Allen, by the way, is phenomenal at it. He's great. He's an amazing athlete. I just found that funny. But, yeah, this is obviously going to be a big story going forward and how many teams use it going forward.
All right. The other big news that we heard yesterday, not big news, but fun news, I guess, if you want to look at it in that vein, is the Eagles are going to be on Hard Knocks. Not them singularly. It will be one of the division things where they look at the entire NFC East. What do we expect here? I am really intrigued by the NFC East being on here.
All right, so Mike, this is interesting. Now, this is the second year in a row that NFL Films, which produces Hard Knocks, will do a Hard Knocks in season with not just one team, but 4 teams. Last year, they did the first ever divisional Hard Knocks in season with the AFC North. And what will happen here is the same thing. They'll start running on HBO in December, but they'll be taping all 4 teams from September through November. And it is intriguing now that you saw what happened with the Giants offseason. They were the only team they featured in their offseason filming. And that was I'm sure everybody knows when Joe Shane was taped. I mean, he had to okay it. He's the GM still of the Giants. Or he admitted in their meeting, their personnel meeting, and he said basically our money could be spent better elsewhere, protect our quarterback. And obviously, you see the memes and people using it against Joe. I mean, I don't know Joe Shane, but I would say this: I thought what the great thing, Mike, about that was it let the fans see what goes on behind the scenes. That's the whole thing about Hard Knocks. Now, got kind of homogenized the last 10 to 15 years, but I remember the first one ever, which is the Ravens, and showing Brian Billick and members of the front office and coach staff releasing players. That's in the training camp one, but this one in season will be to move the 4 here with the 4 teams. You have some practice footage, not showing anything that any team could learn something from. Team meetings. By the way, when Belichick agreed, I think the 2009 season, they followed Belichick from training camp through the entire season with the Patriots. He gave him some incredible stuff, like the team meetings, Mike. You're going to see stuff like that. Now, I remember Paul Gunther, the former Raiders GM, Raiders defense coordinator, telling me coaches, by and large, don't like it. However, he said after 1 week in training camp, he didn't even, I think it was 2019, maybe 2018 and 2019, he was with the Raiders. Paul said they didn't even notice it. The coaches they acted like they were just, the NFL Films guys who were filming were just part of everything, part of the team. They didn't really notice it after a week. But yeah, overall, coaches don't like going in. They don't want it. They think it's a distraction when it really isn't. And you have final say. The clubs have final say what actually gets on the air.
Wow. And that's what makes that whole Giant thing even crazier, is that they got final say to say that can go on the air. And then they said you can air that. I mean, what are you doing? If you have final say over that and still allowed it to air. I'm very intrigued, because the Eagles are a team that has never been on anything like that. Now, they did do the Amazon one a couple years ago in 2019. There was one. I think it was called All or Nothing. And it didn't have nearly the same fanfare as the Hard Knocks series does. But how this will shed light on Sirianni, will it be positive? Now, as we talk about Sirianni with his extension here, will he be shed in a positive light or a negative light? Or he is somebody I'm very intrigued to see.
Yeah, Mike, I'm fascinated to see what happens here. That's probably the part of it, Mike, when we look at what will be revealed and what will get on the air and what won't get on the air. This is, I didn't see the one. I'm an avid watcher of Hard Knocks, the one in training camp. I didn't see the in-season one last year with the AFC North. I know the Cardinals did the in-season one. I don't remember anything coming out of that. See, in-season, it's different, Mike. Because jobs are not being won and lost like they are at training camp.
Well, the in-season one, Adam, last year, I didn't watch the whole thing, but one that I did see was when the Steelers were playing the Browns, and they were playing against each other, and they showed you the preparation of both teams. And Tomlin came off really good, I thought, in the show. But they showed you both teams kind of preparing for each other. But I didn't watch the whole series. Josh was saying that they basically take footage from the whole season, and then it starts airing in December. So who knows where they're going to start getting footage from and how that's all going to start. But some of it is, hey, there's a division game. Here's how they kind of got ready for each other. But I thought, one of the big things was that Tomlin came off very good. So they really highlighted the head coaches, the speeches, them preparing for the week. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. Because, again, Mike, it's in season, as I was saying to start this. It's September through November. All you really have is you do have personnel meetings, right? The personnel group, right? Every NFL team meets. They discuss what they have on the roster, what's out there. You never know. They could actually show, which would be cool. They could, this is not a big deal. They could actually show a street free agent workout. When teams sign players after they work out, and they could show that. I think that would be pretty cool. Which they're not giving away any state secrets there. It really doesn't matter. I think fans would like to see that. You have the team meetings. I was talking about the one they did with Belichick in 2009. See what comes out of that. But they're not going to. Basically, it's when NFL Films is doing this, they're doing it with respect to the club. They're not. Nothing's going to get on there that's going to embarrass the club. Now, again, the one with Joe Shane, I didn't see it. Of course, it blew up on him because Barkley had the best season in NFL history at running back through the Super Bowl. Not that anyone knew that would happen, but he had to know that he would go from the Giants to the Eagles, and obviously what John Mara said, which said would, he had a lot to say about how he when the rumors were that he might go to the Eagles, and John Mara didn't take it well. That was great drama and great television, but that's part of it, man. That's the inside that you never get to see, and I thought that was great that the folks got to see that.
Yeah, I think that was riveting. And the other thing I said yesterday, Adam, was I'm intrigued to see the amount of hands-on nature of the general managers. How much they are in every day-to-day kind of practices. How much do they sit and talk if they get to that? And with Washington, I'm very intrigued to see how much Josh Harris is around.
Yeah, I mean, Jeffrey's at a lot of practices, by the way, since he's owned the team. I mean, he this is his business, so he's there a lot. I mean, particularly in training camp, you'll see him there all the time. Yeah, that's true. And remember, Josh Harris grew up in the Washington area. That's his team. So, in terms of the one who was most popular growing up for him, but as you know, he has other sports properties that he and his group owns, David Blitzer and others.
Yep.
But yeah, it's going to be fun, man. And I joke with Jeff today, how many Big Dom sightings will be on each show?
Oh, that's another. I can't believe I forget that. He's going to be the star of that show, right?
Can you imagine? Think about it, right? Teams are secretive. Name another sports team, professional, that celebrates their director of security. I've never seen this before.
You couldn't even name one. You couldn't even
name
another one, right?
I don't know the guy's name, but I know the Cowboys guy is very popular. I just don't know what his name is. But nothing like this. You've seen the big. By the way, the Big Dom T-shirts, I believe, were sold by the Eagles at least 1 year for charity. It's just you got to love it, man. But only in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. So that's the big news there from yesterday is that the NFC East will be featured on the Hard Knocks. Giants, Washington, Dallas, Philadelphia, and that will start airing the first week in December. And I guess it goes as long as there's a team remaining.
I don't know. Well, I know it's going to start in December. Now, obviously, they're taping before that. I don't because I've only seen the off-season one and the training camp one. I don't know if they're going to go take it to the playoffs, which will obviously be incredibly compelling. I don't know. It's a great question. It's not in the press release I got from HBO. It doesn't say that they're going to continue it during the playoffs, so I don't know.
Yeah, Josh is telling me that's what they did last year. They went until the Ravens got knocked out. So if the Eagles are still in it in the Super Bowl, you'll get it all the way through the Super Bowl. If a team goes further, or that's basically how long it will go.
I'll give you one more thing. Remember, if you saw the one in 2009 with the Patriots, and this is how great Belichick was. He loves NFL Films, by the way. Him and the Patriots are getting blown out in New Orleans, and you see Brady Glum standing right next to him, and Belichick's he's got the mic on him. I just can't figure out why we can't win, and he just started lamenting the issues that they were having, and then of course they show the personnel meeting when they decide who's going to rest, and unfortunately, they rested a lot of their key players. It was against the Texans in Houston. This is when Wes Welker tore his ACL on that turf in Houston,
right? And
they could have benched him. They should have benched him. He should not have played, and I was shocked that they put that on the air. But Bill was kind of. He let a lot of stuff get on there. That was very big of him. That was my favorite one that I've ever seen. I got to be honest with you. With all the documentaries they've done, the two Bills is right up there.
Yeah,
Belichick,
that was good.
And obviously in Parcells. But this thing, the 2009 one, you got to. And I think it's either 2 or 3 parter. You can find it on YouTube, by the way.
All right, Adam Caplan, Football at 4. There's the two stories that really made the most news this week. Tush Push is back. Will it be here long term? We'll find out. And obviously, the Hard Knocks that will start in December. Here on the Sports Bash. Football at 4, everybody, powered by the Inside the Birds podcast, which you can get on all podcasting platforms. Just search Inside the Birds. Thanks, Adam.
All right, thank you.